Good morning, good afternoon, good day, and whenever you're tuning in, how are you doing? I'm your Sandoval, and you are listening and watching to Jack Talk. Yes, aired on ESPN Radio 101.7, the team, KTTN FM, Rio Rancho, Albuquerque, and the Mixed Talk Radio on the Mixed Media Network. Yes, sir, the Mixed Talk Radio is all about talking news, current events, hot topics, sports, and more. So thank you for tuning in and listening and watching. Remember to look up all on-demand content online on the Mixed Media Network website. That is themixedmedianetwork.com. THE mixedmedianetwork.com. The website is loaded with all sorts of great on-demand shows, including the Countdown 428 Solo Boxeo at Santa Ana Star Casino podcast, the Napa Speedway podcast, and, of course, the Mixed Talk Radio podcast with yours truly, moi. So I hope you're having a fantastic day today. A great day it is. And today's show is going to be awesome, and we are going to continue our Giving It Back to the Community series, where we feature organizations in the community that all are about serving the community. And I will have Executive Director Tammy Hanks in studio of CASA. When we're going to talk about what the organization and the large event coming up that you don't want to miss. And, of course, topping up the show is the Combat Sports Update with Sal Mora with an exclusive interview with UFC fighter John Bones Jones, brought to you by McCartan Sports and Entertainment. So a great show lined up for you today. Remember, don't forget, you can catch this show and every show every Saturday on the radio dial, 7 a.m., 101.7 The Team, KQTM FM, Albuquerque, Rio Rancho. And you can always catch the Mixed Talk Radio on demand and on iTunes at themixedmedianetwork.com, themixedmedianetwork.com. And follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/AndresT23. Follow me, I will follow you right back. And I always invite you, let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you're thinking and message me. You can message me at themixedtalkradio@gmail.com, themixedtalkradio@gmail.com, and like the Mixed Talk Radio on Facebook, the Mixed Talk Radio with Andres T on Facebook, as well as like the Mixed Media Network. Yeah. So thank you again for tuning in to the show. So I have a great show for you today, and we're going to be talking about a great organization here out in Sandoval County, and this organization is called CASA. And special guest in studio, I have Tammy Hanks, Executive Director of Court-Appointed Special Advocates of Sandoval County, also known as CASA. Tammy, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we'll talk a little bit about we'll talk about CASA in just a little bit, but just give our listeners an idea, and viewers an idea of who you are.
Mm-hmm.
You're originally from here. Talk about yourself.
You want to know
Yeah,
personally,
we got to give them an idea of who you are.
Okay. I'm originally from Texas.
Okay.
Dallas Cowboy fan, unfortunately. But if you're born there, you have to...
You're an inherited Dallas Cowboy fan.
Exactly. You have to stick with it. Been out here about 20 years.
Okay.
I have adopted children, which is why I got into CASA. Two of my kids came from the Texas foster care system, and probably had as much abuse in the foster care system in Texas as they did in their birth homes, which is what drew me to CASA. My educational background is I have a PhD in psychology. I've always worked in nonprofits, and so this was a natural fit.
Right, and then you just got involved in CASA, and you became the executive director of Sandoval Counties. Yep. Hey, that sounds. Hey, I got my degree in psychology. It's a bachelor's.
All right, okay.
It's not a doctorate's, but it's a bachelor's. But I love psychology.
Learn the same stuff.
Yes, you got that right.
Yeah.
So now let's get down and talk about CASA. Of course, it means Court-Appointed Special Advocates.
Mm-hmm.
And what exactly is CASA?
Well, let me give you a little history about CASA.
Okay.
Back in 1977, there was a Seattle judge who was hearing family court cases and realizing that he was making huge decisions where kids' lives were concerned, and he felt like he didn't really have enough information about what was in the best interest for the child. All the different players in the situation, their version of CYFD, Children, Youth, and Families Department, had their point of view. The parents had their point of view. All the different players, but they really weren't hearing what was in the best interest of the children. So this judge decided that he would ask volunteers in the community to come forth and represent those kids. And since that time, CASA has grown. There's now over 1,000 of them in the United States. Here in New Mexico, we have 16 different programs. Each one is an independent nonprofit, but we have a loose coalition, if you want to say, of all the different ones in the state. And I think there's probably Close to 1,000 CASA volunteers throughout the state.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, how does CASA give children a voice?
Well, basically, from the moment a case is adjudicated, which means that it's been proven that there has been some abuse, each judge will assign a CASA to that case. And, be it one child in the case or 10 kids, there's going to be a CASA assigned to that case. And the CASA will follow the court case. And it's kind of like, in some respects, Big Brothers, Big Sisters,
Okay.
with a courtroom aspect to it. Each CASA gets to know their individual children pretty well. They'll go visit them in the foster homes. They'll see them in school or daycares. They'll follow the case, and most cases take at least a year, if not 2 or 3.
Long process.
Long
really,
process.
really long process.
And every CASA promises when they take a case that, they'll do everything they can to see it through to the end, be that 6 months or 3 or 4 years.
And is that the goal, or what is the mission of CASA?
Well, mainly the mission is to make sure that the kids have the best possible outcome as quickly as possible, that they're in a safe and permanent home as soon as possible. Now, sometimes that'll mean, following as the family tries to reunite, because that's always CYFD's first priority, is to reunite the family. If that's not possible, then they'll go on to see adoptive families, or if it's older kids, they may age out of the system. But CASA, each CASA volunteer kind of follows the case. They make sure if the judge wants the kids to go to counseling, or whoever determines that they need to go to counseling, they make sure that that's done. They make sure that the kids' individual education plans are being followed. Just kind of oversees the whole situation to make sure no part of it falls through the cracks.
Being a nonprofit and providing this service, why do kids need CASA? I mean, are there other organizations or government services out there that do this, or is CASA?
Not really. CASA's kind of unique in that respect. Kids really need a CASA because nobody, like I said, is there in court representing what's in their best interest. Everybody else has their own kind of agenda. And that's not to say that like CYFD's agenda is wrong. It's just that sometimes in the big picture, the individual needs of the kid get left out.
Mm-hmm. And so basically they just want to get them in, whatever, as long as they do their paperwork and get it all done.
Well,
kind of thing.
Maybe in some CYFD offices, ours is very good. We're really fortunate that they're really concerned about what's good for the kids.
For the kid.
But they do have timelines that they have to follow. Federal regulations and things like that, and they're all overworked and underpaid. And so sometimes if a kid's not acting out, they're not going to get the attention that they need, and something may get missed. Or if a kid is really quiet and nobody's thought to think, well, maybe they need a hearing test.
Mm-hmm.
The CASA may bring that up because we see them a lot more often.
And it's all in the best interest of the
Exactly.
child. Now, could you talk a little bit about the process of how advocates advocate for the children?
Yeah. Well, like I said, they go to all the meetings at CYFD. They're called family center meetings, and everybody involved is there: therapists, different people in the kids' lives, like grandma, grandpa, if they're available. The parents are there. CYFD workers are there, and the CASA is there, and we kind of monitor what's going on. So, and then the CASA will go to the foster home and see the kids in that element, see them in their school element, just kind of follow them in every arena of their lives.
I mean, because every arena of their lives, I mean, you got to see what is best for them, and every child is different.
Absolutely.
Not every child's the same. Now, talking statistics here, how traumatic can this be for children? And like, I guess, how many children are in foster care at any given time here in New Mexico?
Here in New Mexico, anywhere from 2,000 to 2,500 kids are in care at any one time, and it's incredibly traumatic. I mean, if you just think about, say, your 6 or 7 year old kid, you're awakened in the middle of the night by the police busting in the door. Here's some strange lady who says she's a social worker and she's come to take you away.
But as a child, you don't know that you're scared because it's a stranger coming in your house.
And our parents tell us don't talk to strangers, much less don't go with a stranger. And they'll hand you, it's really sad sometimes, they'll hand you a garbage bag and say, okay, you got 5 minutes to get whatever's important to you. Wow. And can you imagine trying to put your whole life in a garbage bag? and leave in 5 minutes with somebody you don't know.
I can't imagine.
While they're hauling your parents off to jail.
Oh my
I mean,
gosh.
they'll never see their dog again. They'll never see their cat again. They'll probably go to a different school. It's incredibly traumatic.
I mean, how many out there, I guess, go through extended periods of time in foster care? I mean, because that is very traumatic as well, because of the fact that, okay, you're in a non-permanent home for a long time, but then you get moved again. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, here in New Mexico, they do a really good job, I think, CYFD, of trying to keep a kid in the same foster home as long as possible. Things do come up. I mean, kids do have some kids have some major behavioral issues that don't manifest until they're in the foster home. And so, maybe that particular foster family isn't trained in things and they have to move them. But they do a pretty good job of keeping them in the same foster home as much as they can.
Now, when these advocates, the CASA advocates, go out and obviously get, kind of personal with the child to understand them, how does the child respond to this after they acknowledge, okay, well, they're there to help me?
Really kind of depends on the kid.
Okay.
But a lot of times, maybe a kid is real resistant to help, and a lot of other people won't be able to get through to them. Or they've been in the foster care system repeatedly and they don't trust people in the system. And then here comes the CASA, and the CASA repeatedly lets them know that, they're just there for them. They're not there for their parents. They're not there for CYFD. Doesn't matter what's going on in their counseling. You can talk to me. I'm here for you.
Yeah, yeah.
And some kids, it takes a while to reinforce that. And other kids respond to it really quickly.
So, like I said before, it depends on the child.
It does.
Okay.
It does. It really does.
And now, you mentioned it before, but how many advocates are currently around in New Mexico?
Close to 1,000, I think, throughout the
state. And how
state.
many are in Sandoval County?
Sandoval County, we have between 20 and 25 pretty much at any one time.
Oh, okay. So there are a few out there, but always more is always better.
Always needed.
But we'll talk about that in just a bit. But let's move on and talk about the CASA Walk for the Kids event that is coming up. When is the event taking place?
It's next Saturday, April 28th, from 10 a.m. till noon. We're going to have it at the Intel campus.
Okay.
Right down here. Everybody knows where Intel is.
You can't miss it.
No.
The big parking lot.
Yeah. We'll be in the southernmost parking lot. The walk is a 2.5 mile, right around 2.5 mile course around Intel and within the interior streets of Intel.
All right. So, and this, what was the purpose of this event?
Mainly the purpose is to bring awareness about CASA. I mean, other places it's easy to get awareness with CASA. Here, everything's named CASA when you're in the Southwest, Yeah. So it's kind of hard to point out that, no, we're a separate CASA. We're court-appointed special advocates, but CASA. Okay. So awareness, also fundraising, so we can recruit and train more CASA volunteers. It's really expensive, and the training is intensive. We have 30 hours of initial training that they have to go through. Wow. That covers everything from psychology to family dynamics, trauma, drug and alcohol abuse, because unfortunately a lot of the families have those issues. Exactly. So we really, really, really train our CASA advocates in depth.
Is this this isn't the first year for the walk?
No. We had it last year.
You had it last year, and it was in September, as you mentioned before the show, but you moved it to...
We did. There was a little too much going on in September,
Balloon Fiesta.
We didn't really think that one out, I guess.
Balloon
Fiesta,
coming up,
State Fair,
and all that stuff.
And the very same day, Corrales had their Harvest Festival, which I didn't even know they had.
Well, that's New Mexico for you.
Yeah.
It's always land of, well, you find this, that, and the other. You may be here for a long time.
Exactly.
But now, how can individuals sign up for this?
Well, they can do a couple of things. They can call our office at 720-7030. Talk to me. I can get them in the information and they can sign up. We have a flyer that we could give people that on the one side, it tells about what's going on. On the other side, there's room for people to get donors to sign up and kind of make pledges to follow them and, pay for them doing the walk.
Okay.
They can also go to our website. It's casasandoval.org. And then there's more information there.
There you go. Website, probably the best way to do it as well.
Yeah.
Get online. I know with important organizations like CASA, there's a need for the community to come together to further the operation. Now, I'm sure there are individuals out there that are wanting to get involved and are interested in volunteering for this, being part of the organization. Talk about
Absolutely.
the volunteer advocates currently, and what do they do, and how the process. What is their process to get involved?
The application process.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, the first thing to do is get in contact with us. We'll give them an application. We'll have an interview. Of course, we have to do background checks. Nobody that's had any felonies or any kind of arrest involving children. We're really, really careful about those safety screenings. Then they'll go through the initial training. We have 2 different ways to do the training. We maybe twice a year, 3 times a year, we'll have a group training.
Okay.
5 or 6 people all get together and train for the 30 hours. Or if somebody doesn't want to wait until we have enough people for the next training, we can do an individual training where they'll come in once a week for about an hour and sit down with me, and we'll go through kind of a self-progressed type of training.
Okay, and you must be 21 years and older?
21 years and older.
Okay, and you can definitely get online. That's where you can find all that information to volunteer and all that.
Absolutely.
So we're winding down in time here, but I wanted to ask you and say that maybe individuals out there may not be able to volunteer. Is there a way that they can help out CASA, say, by donations, and what type of donations, if so?
We can always use donations. Financial donations are great. We also have a program for kids who are aging out of the system, which means they turn 18, and basically, that's it. You're out of foster care. You're on your own. So we have a program where if people wanted to donate furniture, we turn around and give that furniture to the kids that are setting up their first apartments, that sort of thing.
Wow. And I mean, you're talking about transitioning out. How hard is it it doesn't seem like it's an easy thing transition out of that.
No. I mean, when I turned 18, my parents didn't just say, okay,
bye. Yeah.
I couldn't have made that on my own. It's difficult. And CYFD does have some things in place to help them if they'll go on to college. But say a kid's not really interested in college. It's incredibly difficult to just suddenly be an adult. The statistics are outrageous. I think, like a quarter of foster kids who age out wind up in the prison system. There's a really high percentage that have drug or alcohol problems. So it's not easy. And then, there's always the generational abuse that happens. A lot of these kids, you'll find later on that they're abusing their kids. So it's
so the
not
cycle
easy.
Continues, and it just creates kind of an issue that just has to stop, but it's not. It's been continued.
Perpetuates. Yeah.
So we're up against the clock here, but give our listeners and viewers the information about CASA Walk for Kids event again.
Okay, CASA Walk for Kids next Saturday, April 28th. Be from 10 a.m. to noon at Intel campus. Everybody's welcome to come. If you don't sign up ahead of time, you can sign up there and do the whole walk. Bring your kids, grandma, grandpa, whoever
Bring
wants
everybody.
to come. Bring the dog. But I'm not sure if you can bring the dog. I'm not sure if Intel would care for that. But any other family.
It's just a phrase.
Or
Okay.
clean up your dog after your dog. So.
Okay, and information about the website, phone number, if anybody wants to get in contact.
Sure. Website is casasandoval.org. Be sure and put .org instead of .com, because if you put .com, you get some old folks home in California.
I saw that. I did that yesterday when I was looking it up the website, and it was like old person home.
Yeah,
what?
no.
And my computer even said this site is not safe. I'm like, what?
Yeah, no. Make sure you get the .org in there. casasandoval.org.
And if when in doubt, just Google Casa Sandoval.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're done here. So I'd like to thank you, Tammy Hanks, Executive Director of Court-Appointed Special Advocates of Sandoval County, also known as CASA. Thanks for coming on the show to let everyone know how this organization positively affects the community and does a great service for these children out there.
Thank you so much.
So thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
All right. And it's that time. Yes, you are tuned in to the only place for the most comprehensive combat sports info. And it's time for your Combat Sports Update with Sal Mora, brought to you by McKernan Sports and Entertainment, where they strive to bring you high quality and affordable entertainment and events for members of its community they serve. McKernan Sports and Entertainment specializes in inclusion and interactivity and strive to provide a family-friendly environment. Check out what's happening at McKernanSports.com. And today's Combat Sports Update is fantastic. Let me tell you, it is an exclusive interview with John Bones Jones, fighting in UFC 145 against Rashad Evans. We got the exclusive Sal Mora, your man, all things entertainment, Sal Mora of SalMora.com, has brought you an exclusive interview. So, Sal, it's time for the Combat Sports Update interview with John Jones. Take it away.
Sal Mora for CagePotato.com. I'm here with UFC light heavyweight champion John Jones. John, thanks for taking the time.
Hey, no problem.
John, at long last, you'll be fighting Rashad Evans at UFC 145 on April 21st. What will happen between you and Rashad after this fight? Is there any chance of a reconciliation between you two on a personal level?
I honestly don't know what will go on after the fight. But I really don't have any interest in becoming friends with Rashad again. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to do a job. And, so.
Recently, your training camp has been featured on the UFC Primetime Series. How much of a distraction is it having the cameras around when you're heading into the final weeks of preparation?
It's not a distraction at all. When I was preparing for Mauricio Shogun Rua, there was a TV crew, a camera crew with me for almost the whole camp. They did the documentary In the Moment. And literally, they were with me every day from 9 o'clock in the morning to about 9 o'clock at night. So I felt as if that could have been a distraction for me, but at the same time, it prepared me for the future and where we are today. So the cameras they're here, but it's okay.
In general, how have you been able to handle all the extra attention and media obligations that you've had to deal with over the last year?
I think I've handled it pretty well. I've learned to be more comfortable in my own skin. To be myself and just just do it, just get it over with in a lot of cases.
In February, Dana White was quoted as saying you'll probably move to heavyweight eventually, but not this year. Are you okay with that, or are you getting anxious to test yourself at a higher weight class?
I'm okay being at the light heavyweight division. I did ask Dana White, can I get a fight at heavyweight at the end of this year, and he told me that he didn't think that was best for me right now. So I'm totally okay with where I'm at and competing at the light heavyweight division. I think there's lots of great competition left at the light heavyweight division. I'm sure guys like Lyoto are going to be coming back around for their rematches too. So everything's going according to plan.
Speaking of heavyweights, the big story last week, Alistair Overeem failed his random drug test. Very few UFC fighters like to speak up about the subject. But the ones that do, guys like Chet Congo, Dennis Holloman, Krzysztof Sozinski, all say that at least half of MMA fighters are using performance-enhancing drugs. What's your take on this? And is the steroid problem really that widespread in MMA? Have you seen it firsthand? What can be done to fix the problem?
I've never seen anyone here at Jackson's MMA participate in any type of steroid use. I don't know anybody in our team that could be possibly taking steroids. And as far as Alistair Overeem, that's really his problem. Steroids is unfortunately a part of all sports, and he just so happened to got caught.
What do you think can be done on it?
Excuse me?
What do you think that can be done in MMA, in the community, with the UFC to fix that problem?
I really don't know. It's really not my world. I'll compete against someone on steroids any day. I believe in some cases, people who abuse steroids, have weakness in their hearts. They don't believe in working hard. I'm not against steroids. I think that in some cases you need steroids. Like if you're an older gentleman, or you have some type of illness or something like that. But when an athlete abuses it, that's their business.
And last question, John, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I see myself continuing to work hard, continuing to be trying to strive to solidify a place in the history books of the sport.
John, thank you for your time. Good luck at UFC 145.
All right.
This is Sal Mora for CagePotato.com.
And that's the Combat Sports Update, brought to you by Sal Mora of SalMora.com. And the Combat Sports Update brought to you by McKernan Sports Entertainment. Yes, sirree, Sal Mora. Remember, catch him. He's all things entertainment. SalMora.com. salmora.com. Get all the latest and greatest things out there. Salmora.com is the best place to get all your venues, your tickets to all your different concerts, your different shows, all that great stuff. Sal Mora, he's the man. Once again, salmora.com. All right, we are at the end of the show today, so I'd like to thank you for tuning in and watching and listening to Chuck Talk, airing on ESPN Radio 101.7, the Team KQTM FM, and online. Yep, the Mixed Talk Radio with Andres T. I'm your host. Yes, on the Mixed Media Network. Remember, you can catch the show, this show, and all other shows on demand at your fingertips. Just log on to the Mixed Media Network website, themixedmedianetwork.com, THEMIX medianetwork.com. And message me. I want to know your thoughts. Let me know what your thoughts are. Hit me with a message at themixedtalkradio@gmail.com. The Mixed Media Network is looking for content. Yes. So you have a show, you have an idea for a show, podcasts, message me, and I will pass the message on to the content, to the program director. So message me, themixedtalkradio@gmail.com. And yeah, that'd be fantastic. Also, I'm on Twitter, twitter.com/AndresT23. Follow me, all the latest and greatest tweets. You can catch the show on Twitter as well. So you just click on the Twitter link, and it'll be right there. And make sure you like the Mixed Talk Radio with Andres T on Facebook. And you're on Facebook, you Facebook junkies. So like the Mixed Talk Radio on Facebook as well as share. And the Mixed Media Network as well on Facebook. Like lots of great contests and tickets to upcoming boxing match. You don't want to miss that. So definitely. All right, I'm done here today. So have a great rest of the day. Be safe. God bless. And I will catch you here next time. Anytime. On demand. You got that right. I'm your host, Andres T, and you've listened to Chalk Talk, airing on 101.7 the Team KQTM FM and the Mixed Talk Radio, and I am signing you out.
1 minute to auto-destruct.
Are you the big chief or one of the little Indians?
Tell me your best quality.
Wow, you're shaking things up a bit, huh?
Thanks for tuning into the Mixed Talk Radio with your host, Andres T. Download the Mixed Talk Radio every Saturday on iTunes.